As the culmination of the Mass Effect trilogy created by famous Canadian developer Bioware, Mass Effect 3 admittedly has an incredible amount of hype to live up to. It's with this in mind that I have some good news to deliver. Mass Effect 3 fully realizes the promise Bioware set forth some 7 years ago with the announcement of the original game. Mass Effect 3 is excellent, a game that sticks to the respected conventions of the franchise while trying some new things, including a foray into multiplayer. It connects intimately and brilliantly to the games that came before it, and acts as a worthy end to the most epic gaming trilogy ever created. If you're unfamiliar with Mass Effect, let's get you caught up. The game revolves around a character named Commander Shepard, a human who, throughout the series, has risen as a prominent galactic hero.
You're not supposed to call me that anymore, James.
Not supposed to salute you either.
Mass Effect prides itself on character customization, so you can make Shepard a male or female and cater him or her to your liking. In the past, Shepard has faced off against threats to the galaxy, but everything has been leading up to this point. The Reapers, a mysterious race once thought to be a myth, has returned to the Milky Way galaxy, as it does every 50,000 years, in order to wipe out all organic life. Mass Effect's true strength rests not with its gameplay, but with its story, characters, and setting. Veterans of Mass Effect and Mass Effect 2 will find a fluid continuity in Mass Effect 3. Without getting too spoilery, let's just say that you'll be revisiting places you've already been while venturing forth into parts of the galaxy you've never fully explored. As with the other two Mass Effect games, the more you put into Mass Effect 3, the more you'll get out of it. Sonically, Mass Effect 3 totes extremely impressive voice acting and a solid soundtrack, and both go a long way towards making Mass Effect 3 the amazing and immersive experience it is. However, the soundtrack sort of sat in the background for me. The quality of the voice acting was far more important.
Admiral?
You look good, Shepard. Maybe a little soft around the edges.
Mass Effect 3 is a pretty game to be certain, but there are graphical hitches and other technical hiccups worth mentioning. Significant frame rate issues hamper certain parts of the game, and there are other times when the frame rate dips, especially during heated combat. Textures tend to pop in from time to time. Lip syncing fluctuates between acceptable and poor, and there are a couple of times on PlayStation 3 when I fell through the environment, dying randomly, or got caught in the environment and had to start from my last autosave. But as strange as it sounds, these problems don't necessarily mar the experience beyond being a minor series of annoyances. Like other huge RPGs such as Skyrim or Fallout 3, Mass Effect 3 is so good that it's easy to accept or ignore these problems completely, though they do keep Mass Effect 3 from being considered the masterpiece that it easily could have been. In short, Mass Effect 3 is a fun third-person shooter, though it doesn't necessarily hold its own against some of its rivals in the gameplay department. Obviously, the likes of Gears of War and Vanquish far outshine it in third-person mechanics, but that doesn't keep the game from being a fine example of a cover-based shooter in its own right. New additions to combat in Mass Effect 3 include a great emphasis on pseudo-platforming and verticality. For instance, Shepard can now jump when prompted. In addition, a far greater emphasis on augmenting your weapons can be found in Mass Effect 3, allowing you to cater your weapons to your liking. But despite these additions, the gameplay is overall very similar to Mass Effect 2. Players will have the option to choose character classes that cater best to their playstyle. You can be a gun-toting badass, or you can supplement your powers with the likes of tech and biotic attacks. Likewise, the characters you meet throughout the game that join your squad also utilize a variety of these skills that can be used to round out your party. There's a lot of strategy in formulating your squad to best suit various situations. Equal amounts of strategy can be found in finding new weapons and armor and upgrading what you already have. But as Mass Effect fans know, the series is known for far more than just choice in combat. Mass Effect 3, like the two other titles in the series, relies almost entirely on making choices constantly. These choices branch out into seemingly endless routes that players can take. Therefore, gameplay isn't only about combat, it's also about conversation and exploration. How you treat other people, who you decide to help or not, and how thoroughly or scarcely you explore will have major ramifications throughout the game. And it comes chock full of replay value, with Paragon and Renegade slants giving you reasons to play again. Mass Effect 3 also introduces multiplayer to the franchise. While completely unnecessary, Mass Effect 3's multiplayer suite, which parallels Gears of War 3's Horde mode in many respects, is still a great deal of fun. Better yet, it optionally interconnects with the main campaign to make for a more robust experience, should you want to explore those options. Mass Effect 3 is still very much a single-player experience, but its multiplayer component will keep players engaged for longer, in turn giving you more bang for your buck.
Stop them. This isn't about strategy or tactics. This is about survival.
Mass Effect 3 isn't the best game ever made, but it will certainly be in the conversation for the foreseeable future. Bioware should be applauded for successfully wrapping up such an ambitious project, one that fully realizes choices made in the original 2 games. The Mass Effect trilogy should be experienced by every self-respecting gamer, regardless of genre or platform preferences. It's just that good. And Mass Effect 3, in many ways, is the best game of the bunch. For more on Mass Effect 3 and the Mass Effect trilogy, head on over to IGN.com.